This is a brief exam revision video for your forthcoming Strategic Management exam. We will discuss some of the major topics we've covered during this first semester. The exam is 2 hours long, it is quite intense, and you have a lot of information to get down in what is a relatively short amount of time. So to provide you with a little bit of extra support, you are able to take in 1 page, 2 sides of typed A4 notes. You can write whatever you want on these 2 sides of A4, whether that be bullet points or extended notes, whichever you feel is the most useful for the exam. Please note that only what you write in your examination booklet will be considered for your final mark. The 2 sides of A4 will be discounted. There are 4 questions for this exam, one of which will be mandatory. You have to answer this question. It will be made very clear in the exam booklet. There will be 3 optional questions. You are only to answer one of these optional questions. If you answer any more than one of these optional questions, I will only consider the mandatory and first optional question for your final grade. The case study has been pre-released and is exactly the same as for your assignment. It is Lidl's supermarket. So one of the first major topics that we will consider here is corporate social responsibility, also known as CSR. So with all of your exam questions, the best place to start is by defining what are the key areas of the particular topic. So what is CSR? This would be a good place to use a textbook definition. Look at your recommended reading list and the information that I've put up on Moodle to provide you with some extra support for this. We'd also want to look at what are the main theories of the topic you are discussing. So in this instance, it would be Milton Friedman and shareholder theory and its counterpart in Edward R. Friedman's shareholder theory. 2 very similar sounding names and similar sounding theories, but I would expect you to be able to explain that distinction during the course of the examination clearly. So as well as the main theories, you would also want to include a discussion about the main models that we've discussed over the course of the module. So the 2 that we've discussed have been John Elkington's triple bottom line, also known as the 3 Ps. So this overlapping Venn diagram that includes people. So this could be people working for the organization or society at large, as well as planet. So this is typically environmental issues. And as this is an accounting model, we'd also consider profit. The other model we look at is Carroll's Pyramid, looking at the economic, legal, and ethical and philanthropic elements here as well. With all of your examination questions, please come back to the case study. So the application will always be to Lidl. The next major topic area we'll take a look at is the macro environment. Again, you would want to define what the macro environment was and what would be the best model in order to analyze the macro environment. The model we've looked at over the course of this semester has been the PEST model, which is a model that looks at the external macro environment, that being political, economic, social, and technological. Again, with the application, we would want well-discussed examples, at least 2 well-discussed examples, but making sure when you are using the PEST model that you are looking at the external. Do not imply it internally to the case study, as this is an inappropriate use of this model. So just work your way through systematically, providing clear, well-discussed examples. The other major topic area is corporate level strategy, which we've discussed in quite some detail and is quite a popular question on the examination. So what is corporate level strategy? There are, again, the major theory here. We'd be looking at a chap called Igor Ansoff and his matrix. And I would expect to see this in the examination, providing good examples for each of those 4 quadrants. The final major topic area we've looked at during this module is Porter's value chain. Again, you will look at what is the value chain and what is its purpose and how is it applied. And then you'd expect to see the diagram with all 9 of its major elements, both its primary activities and support activities, again applying to the case study systematically. But also, to get higher order marks, you'd expect to see some critique of the value chain, as in what are its positive and negative connotations and uses. So, some top tips for the exams. You don't have that many exams, so make sure not just to study hard in preparation, but to prepare for every facet possible. So, make sure you turn up on time. Every year, there are at least 2 or 3 students who do not turn up on time and will consequently not fare as well as they had hoped. You don't have that many exams, and it is quite intense, so make sure you practice writing out your response for at least a couple of hours, because you will find it very difficult and quite intense otherwise. Please make sure you remember your ID. The last thing you want to do is to arrive at the exam hall and not have this with you. And finally, make sure you are answering the question that is being asked. So, all that remains for me to say is the very best of luck for the examination. I hope you study hard and prepare well. Any questions in the meantime, please do get in touch. Drop me an email or call by the office.